Chef Fatmata Binta becomes the first African to win the prestigious title of Basque Culinary World Prize and the 2021 Best Chef Rising Star Award. Her influence on global cuisine is profound, and she brings the rich heritage of the nomadic Fulani people to the modern world. Now, this Women's Month, American Express proudly introduces the esteemed chef Fatmata Binta to South Africa, and she joins us in studio. We're very lucky about it. And thank you for joining us in studio. My apologies for tripping over the word culinary in the intro there. Thank you for joining us in studios. Tell us a little bit about your culinary journey and where it all started.
It's been a long, interesting journey. I grew up in the kitchen. I'm originally from Sierra Leone. Grew up in the kitchen, had so much passion for it. It became a heavy hobby. Went to school, studied international relations, and then I had to move to Europe. That's where I had my aha moment, because, you know, the bustling culinary scene. So I decided to go to culinary school in Nairobi, Kenya, and then worked in hotels for 3 years. Got bored, my nomadic spirit kicked in, and then I wanted to understand African gastronomy better, because for me it didn't make sense to cook the food I didn't grow up eating. I wanted to understand African gastronomy, the culinary stories, also documentation. I started traveling across Africa, documenting recipes, spending time with the gatekeepers of our authentic cuisine, and then also hosting dinners inspired by these communities. So it's been a very interesting journey so far.
Yeah, and I mean, you speak about an aha moment that made you realize what exactly it is you want to offer the world when it comes to cuisine. The highlights that you've expressed, you talk about your travels and the realization to highlight African cuisine to the rest of the world. But what would you say are some of the other highlights that you've had that have contributed to where you sit today?
I would say a lot of spending time with women in these rural areas, because they are our influencers. And also for me, the attention started when I won the Rising Star Award, because then people wanted to understand what is this Fulani cuisine, what is nomadic cuisine. And also hosting dinners where people are traveling in and out of Ghana. Also experiences, which is the Dine on a Mat, where I'm celebrating African gastronomy, getting people to sit on the mat, eating with their hands, telling stories. It's very fascinating to a lot of foodies. One of the interesting things is to collaborate a lot with chefs around the world. For example, like this event I'm doing with Amex Bank, which brought me from West Africa, and I'm meeting a chef here in the East. So it's a lot of fusing that is going on around that. It also sparks conversation. And the world is watching, the culinary world is watching, so they're always interested to see, who is this chef? What cuisine is she representing? What are the stories? Or, you know, they also, it's an invitation for them to want to come to Africa and explore our food.
And are you finding people are enjoying this way of enjoying cuisine, sitting down on the floor, using their hands? It's something that people find very uncomfortable, even in private settings. Do you find that there is an appetite for that?
Yes, I do. I really think it's not uncomfortable. It's really about mindset shift, because also there's a lot of decolonization that is going on around African gastronomy right now. So for me, it's an invitation for people to step outside of their comfort zone and explore food through the palates of women in rural areas. It's celebration. And people are fascinated by that, because most people don't want to just eat. You can easily eat at home. But when you create experiences, people are interested, you know, to spend time, relax, and wind down. Because if you look at dining in general and food, it's moving too fast, the pace. Now everybody's doing grab and go. People are busy. There's no time to sit back, reflect, you know, get to know the person next to you, share, pass the bowl around, and have conversations. So when I started this concept, I really wanted people to reflect on how we connect with food and how we connect with people through food.
It's an entire experience, as you describe it, and not just a nourishment experience.
Exactly.
Why the passion for food? I mean, you've chosen an industry that we've seen over the years has been widely dominated by different demographics, many of them men, white, European, and it's very difficult for a young black woman to break into the industry and make an impact. So why the passion for food, and how did you navigate as a young woman in this industry that one would say is very cutthroat from experiences that have been expressed?
Yes, it is. I love, for me it's passion, heavy passion. And then also food gives me that freedom to express myself, to tell the stories I want to tell, to also challenge and champion the causes I care about, you know, which is most times working with female farmers across Africa. But also being in the industry, because it's dominated by men, you have to work 10 times harder for you to get the same recognition that a man would easily, you know, get. So it's really about staying focused, staying authentic, staying true to yourself, and just following your passion. I believe when you follow your passion, it's really a powerful thing.
Yeah, and then this partnership that you've now concluded with Amex, I mean, what opportunities does that open up for you in the culinary space? What plans do you have? And really just how you want to enrich yourself and those around you?
I'm really excited about this, you know, the professionalism to begin with, because most times you're passionate, you have the vision, but execution can be challenging when you're taking an experience outside of your space. So it's been really a beautiful journey, and I'm looking forward to more. And also because I'm coming from West, and this is East, for me to even be, you know, in this room with you to talk about my food is because of Amex. So the message is passing on, you know, we are promoting African gastronomy in a bigger platform, and I believe collaboration is key. East to West, Africa as a whole, we have to put all hands on deck and share our stories and preserve our culture, because we have a rich, rich culinary culture which the world is yet to tap into. So collaborations really helps to expose, you know, these stories and preserve it and celebrate it.
Yeah, and I wonder how easy or difficult that would be for you to do, because there is a Western African way of cooking and an Eastern African way of cooking. In South Africa, there's the North and all the other provinces that we have. And sometimes it's difficult to understand the culinary composition of a meal that someone from West Africa would enjoy in South Africa. So how do you then create that Africanness in the differences that exist in the different meals?
One, we are actually more similar than we are different.
Yeah.
That's one thing I realized. And then also fusion helps. When you fuse ingredients, take ingredients from West, fuse it with ingredients that are seasonal in South, and then also add that to stories and collaborating with a chef who knows the South African ingredients very well. So it really makes it easier, and also really people are open to experience food now and cuisines and different cultures around food. So it's really been an easy one. It's really about just collaborating with the right people.
Yeah.
And telling these stories. It's not that hard compared to before.
And then just looking forward, the landscape at the moment, we have dealt with many challenges. We've got the Russian invasion, we had COVID-19, just the economic times that are really difficult. Do you think that the industry that you're operating in is still one that is conducive for any young person saying, I want to be a chef and I want to showcase my talent on the African or the global landscape?
I think the time is now, because I believe chefs, we are responsible. We have platforms. Now chefs have a voice. Before it was different. So people listen when we talk about food security, when we talk about food systems, fixing our food systems. We have that power now, lack of a better word. So it's really important now. And also it's really about being nationally self-sustainable. I believe I admire chefs that take pride in their cuisine, you know, that take pride in their culinary story, that take pride in learning about their food, because you are really changing, you know, you're helping fix the system. You don't have to be indulging in buying food that travel miles away. I don't think that's sustainable for now or the long run. So even though there is Russian, you know, Ukraine war, we can still fix this. One thing I'm doing with my foundation, which I have in Ghana, is I'm working with women who are growing ancient grains. And these are grains that are forgotten. They've been around for over 7,000 years, but people are not using it. You can easily find rice that is grown in China or Thailand, in Ghana, or in West Africa in general, but you can't find grains that are indigenous to us, which there's a disconnect. So it's really important as we, as the custodians of our cuisine, our food system, to really indulge in our own, you know, cuisine.
Natural
Teach people,
resources,
challenge people to use our ingredients. promote underutilized ingredients. It's very important.
Thank you very much for your time, and we wish you the very best of luck on this new venture with the partnership that you have secured. That is Fatmata Binta, who's a chef, an amazing partnership there, and really just speaking about the recognition of African cuisine and the collaboration that's needed to put African cuisine and ingredients on the map.